wondering where the heck I am. Hey everybody, I am Wes Allen with DM Tales, and I'm here with another episode of Skipping Lunch, where I skip lunch to bring you a bunch of TTRPG news because I'm weird that way and forget to eat. Anyway, I am really excited. I'm not going to go around the web today because I have two guests that are with me who are currently running, not a Kickstarter, they're doing it through backerkit, and it is one of the new supplements for Shadowdark, which I ran a live stream of like months ago now, and it was one of my favorite systems that I've run in the last year or so. And I'm really excited to talk about this new supplement called Unnatural Selection. And I am here with the people who helped create this thing. My two guests are Bunny the Dungeon Damsel and Xane. So say hello, folks.
Hi.
Hello, folks.
Hi,
That's
folks.
awesome. It's like, you just went full Bugs Bunny on me. That was really good. And listen, I am really excited that you are both here. So thank you so much for agreeing to come on. And this will be saved and live on in perpetuity. So no pressure. But just wanted to talk with you because this supplement is really kind of cool. It adds a lot of features to Shadowdark which weren't there. The look of it is really cool, and I want to talk a little bit about it and just jump right in. So
Cool.
First off, you are doing TTRPG design. What first got you into tabletop role-playing games? That's the obligatory question. Look, cat bomb.
Yeah.
And the cat is walking
first?
through your circles in the screen. It's absolutely hysterical.
Right.
So
The intro. Oh, he's about to jump up onto the top thing. The intro stories. What do you want? Do you want to go first? You want me to
I mean,
go first?
mine is not that special. I
Okay.
just, I started off in Pathfinder, probably around 2013, and since then I met someone who worked at a gaming store, my
Okay.
local gaming store, and we ended up going not to 5e but to 3.5, then down to second, then down to first edition in basic fantasy. So I just I went the wrong way.
Right, reverse.
Oh,
I went reverse.
wow.
Yeah, and that's why I like Shadowdark, because it's kind of like in my area of comfort, and it's the simplicity is the key, and the deadliness. Like, I've played 5e, and it's just kind of you
cool.
can't die. It feels like. But yeah, that's my story. I have a weak story.
No, but I've never. It's really cool that you started with Pathfinder.
Yeah, the more modern. Yeah.
Yeah, and then went backwards, and I didn't play 5e until after I was well versed in first edition.
That's really cool. So, I don't. You should not undersell your story. So you went Pathfinder, more modern, and I literally have never met anybody who started their TTRPG journey with Pathfinder. So that's kind of cool. But you went backwards. How far backwards did you go after moving 3.5?
Yeah, just I think all the way back, just basic fantasy. That's as far as I went, and only
First edition. Yeah.
Yeah, first edition, and then
You went to
only
AD&D? Okay.
I tried
Yeah.
AD&D.
Okay. And
Yes, a bit.
okay, but basic and expert was more your style. That's where I got I started with Moldvay's basic box, so that's kind of
Something called hardcore is what my friend would call it. D&D hardcore, which was like, I don't know if it's super first edition or if it's
It means that there are character deaths, or at least they're supposed to be. I don't know.
You die.
Yeah, you'll
You
die.
die all the time. I managed to survive. I actually hadn't died yet. My character, the campaign just kind of dissolved because the guy was busy all the time with work, so it just kind
Uh,
of fizzled out after like a year or so. But my character was still alive,
that's
surprisingly. I
awesome.
think at level 8.
I have run a basic fantasy RPG campaign for 2.5 years now, and nobody's died yet. They've gotten very close. If the dice hadn't favored them, they would have been X characters, but
Oh my
they
goodness.
I've
just
died
keep
a couple
dodging the roll
times
to.
in his.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm running a basic fantasy campaign right now, and every single character, every single player has died,
Oh,
and
wow.
and I've
Yeah.
weaved in a way that they can revive or resurrect themselves, which
Okay.
usually involves a big quest and all this work to get their characters back. And they've all gone through that whole process, at least once, and some of them, one of them twice. So
I
yeah,
died twice.
lots of death.
That's awesome. So I'm looking at comments coming in. I have somebody pointing out, did the cat just teleport from one location to another? Which is,
Yeah.
I should point out that Bunny and Xane are in the exact same room, sitting next to each other, using the same microphone. Look at that!
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so the cat is magic, and there's a portal gun in their room.
Is
It
that
just
one?
works, which is very good. And somebody also pointed out they started with chainmail. So King Eric was he's way back. Same. Where did you get your start?
Well, I was probably 8 or 9 in the early '80s, and a friend of the family brought the basic set, the red box set of
Okay.
D&D to the house, and taught me and a friend of mine who lived on the same street how to play.
Oh, cool.
And so that's really how it all started for me. And what I did is I went through and played just that and advanced D&D all the way up until maybe early college days.
Okay.
And then when I went into the video game industry, I stopped playing RPGs. And it was kind of interesting thinking back. The people in the video game industry that I would play games with, they would play all kinds of video games, obviously, but even some board games. But never once did anybody say, "Hey, I'm going to run an RPG. Who wants to play?" It just
Interesting.
never, yeah, it never came up the entire time. And it wasn't until after I got out of that industry and started doing other things that I went, it'd be fun to do that again. And so went online to find out what was going on. That's how I met her, and ended up playing in that Pathfinder campaign. So for me, I had jumped from, AD&D to Pathfinder, going, what the heck is all this craziness? And, there was definitely a learning curve involved in
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
But then got excited about when it was introduced when basic fantasy was introduced to me. I was excited, like, oh, this feels better, this is more my
normal.
style.
More
Yeah,
normal.
yeah,
So
because as everybody complains about with 5e and Pathfinder, you can't. It's very hard to die. Like, and I got to experiment in one of my games that I was playing as a player. It was 5e. I would just jump off, 200-foot cliffs and just, whatever, didn't care because I knew that my character couldn't die. Yeah, exactly. So
I had to jump after him with Featherfall, okay? So it's not that he would have survived, but he would have died if I didn't jump after him.
That's awesome. That's so cool. But I love the fact that you were in a creative world and nobody was playing tabletop pen and paper role playing
yeah.
games. It just wasn't
And
part
I
of the
was there
world.
and I was there for 22 years, and it was a high turnover company. So there were
Right.
constantly people coming through. So, more than 1,000 gamers, and nobody ever brought that up as a choice and option.
That's wild. That really is kind of wild. And do you, I don't want to as you who has worked in the industry represent the whole thing, but do you get that sense that's like an industry concept in a lot of places?
Possible, because meeting with I was a producer, so I met with all kinds of different developers and publishers and so forth during that time, and it never came up. It never came up even as casual conversation.
It was considered to be nerd,
Yeah, but
bad to play D&D until Matt Mercer became D&D famous, really. So that might be why.
It's true. But I mean, I was in a nerd industry. All the video game guys were nerds too. So
They're busy looking at their screens.
Right.
I mean, I remember when I got to college back in the 90s and I was looking around going, Oh, it's okay to be a geek. That's fine. We're good. As we were all like 30 of us going out to see the Stargate movie, which is a lot of fun. So I've just dated myself. So, but now you are not in the video game industry, Zane, and Bunny, you are a creator now for tabletop role playing games. So, did you publish anything for TTRPGs before this?
Nope.
This is your
Nope.
first thing. You went from
This is a passion project turned into I guess a profit project, which
Right.
is interesting.
It is really because you went from I'm just going to make this for fun to let's put it on backerkit.
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
raised at this point. I'm going to bring it up on screen for people to see. If you're interested,
Yeah,
that's not that is not backerkit. Where is backerkit? That's there. Let me get out of here. I just showed them what you're seeing, the OBS Ninja Room. Here's backerkit. You have currently raised $81,000.
Yeah.
So that's not bad for a passion project that you're like, well, let's see if anybody wants this. It's pretty cool with 7 days to go, which is really kind of fun. But so what was it? You talked about how the simplicity kind of appealed to you, but like what specifically about Shadowdark said, I'm going to make a supplement for this?
Well, as I said, I was running and still am running a campaign, and I was running it in Basic Fantasy, and
So that's
we had
that's the open source one, Chris Godderman's Basic Fantasy RPG.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Mhm. And we had a player who was playing a necromancer. So I thought, I think I would like to switch everybody over to Shadowdark because of the deadliness, the torch rules, all the cool stuff that are a huge part of it. And I went, well, but there's no necromancer, so I guess I'll just make a necromancer class. And so I started working on it, and she was giving me great ideas, and we were putting it together and realized, wow, this is actually really cool. And boy, it'd be fun to make a shaman. It'd be fun to make a plague doctor, and this beast master. I mean, next thing you know, we're creating all this stuff not for our group, but because we were enjoying it so much.
Okay, cool.
And she's a fantastic artist, so she's drawing all these characters and all the stuff. And we're like, well, heck, why don't we turn this into something that other people could enjoy? And it just came about very organically, just a little bit here. Now let's add this, and now let's add that. And next thing you know, we're like, well, let's have it published, or let's have it manufactured, and let's do a special edition. And it just came very, very cleanly and smoothly, really.
That's really cool. And so, how many ancestries are you adding to the game? I just saw the email today, but you've let folks know how many you're adding to core Shadowdark.
How many are we adding?
Okay, so it's 12 total.
12
we are?
total.
Yeah, because we did 6 previously, and then we had a vote, and it was this is one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen for because we did a vote for the tagline for Unnatural Selection is the Untamed and the Underworld.
Okay.
And so the Untamed is the nature aspects of it, which is the shaman and the beastmaster and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Underworld is like the underbelly of society, or the underworld. So we're talking about the plague doctor and the grave warden.
Okay.
So then we said, okay, well, and that's what we have. The first 3 ancestries that we did were 3 in one and 3 in the other. And so we said, okay, let's do 2 more as a stretch goal, 20,000. Heck, we didn't even know if we'd make 20,000 on the thing.
Yeah, you've hit that.
And so our first stretch goal was 2 new ancestries, and we did it through voting. We said, you all nominate what you want in the 2 categories of Untamed and Underworld, and then we'll conduct a vote.
Okay.
Well, once we started conducting the vote, the first one had gnomes and myconids and Sasquatch and Ents or Silvari, a handful of different things. And the passion for this just blew us both away.
Yeah.
Like everybody going crazy, like, campaigning for their, pick this one. We got to have this. And we got to, the Sasquatch, people naming themselves Sasquatch 69 and, all this insanity. And then people getting really mad about the gnomes. That was the one.
Man.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. What about the gnomes was so contentious? Like, why were people mad about gnomes?
I don't know.
I
Well,
don't know.
one
It's 5e. Like
right.
I
One
don't
thing
know.
was, hey, we could do cool stuff and amazing new stuff because this is Shadowdark. We don't have to just go gnomes, generic gnomes. Gnomes is in everything. I think that's where it kind of got started.
But people really wanted gnomes.
I know, yeah, that
Yeah.
one. Right.
So it wasn't like they were contentious, like, why are gnomes here? It's like, why are there our gnomes? We want gnomes. That's what was going on?
It was 50-50. It was
Okay.
the people that were voting for gnomes were super excited, like, yes, this is what was missing from Shadowdark. And the other people were so mad that gnomes were winning because they wanted something unique and different for Shadowdark, right? so so that really got it, it was surprising, and we said, well, let's get the top 2 vote getters, and we'll do creator's choice.
We'll pick what we
What we want.
wanted.
I
Right.
thought that was kind of cool that you let 2 people vote and then gave the creation choice. I also love the fact that you've uncovered that gnomes are actually a culture war hotspot in the TTRPG hobby space. Like, what on earth? Who would have thought of that in a million years? That's actually really fun. So, what are besides gnomes? Who else won out?
Who won the first one?
Okay,
It's
so the Myconids
Myconids, yeah.
Okay.
won with the gnomes,
And
then
we chose the Groot style people that are very similar looking to the Sylvari of Guild Wars 2.
Okay.
We're gonna pick a name for them, but we just haven't yet.
Okay.
But they're like plant people.
Gotcha.
Right. and then for the underworld, the winners were the Risen, which is like an undead race.
Wasn't that number 2?
And that was that was
It
number
was rat
2.
folk.
And the rat people were number 1.
Okay, that'll
And
be
then-
fun.
And my creation that will exist, it
Yeah.
will be the slime people.
Yeah, tell me how the slime people work. I
I
thought
don't
that was interesting. You don't
We
know?
haven't decided
We're
yet.
We've
We
thought
were
of
excited
things.
about it, right?
We
We
got
were
really
inspired, and so we're gonna do something really cool with it. We just don't know exactly what yet. I mean, that's the thing is, we didn't design them all ahead of time. They were nominated by the fans and created by the fans and selected by the fans. So it's like, okay, now we're gonna go ahead and
That's awesome.
flesh them out.
Didn't like back in like the old Space Ghost cartoon in the 80s, didn't one like the Thundarians or whatever they were, didn't they have like one of their pets was a slime thing that could like
No
babble
idea.
at folks?
Oh yeah, it
I
might
just
be.
know about
I never
Snark.
really watched that, so I don't know.
No, not cat people. No cat people. They are cat people. They don't need to put that in the game. As
Right.
Eric says, we have
I wanted cat people in the game.
That was one of the nominated choices.
I mean, you can set it up as a $150,000 stretch goal. That'll be fine.
Right. Yes.
You get 7 days to go.
Yeah.
Heroes and Homebrew has pointed out, who actually has a really good channel if you ever want. He does epic solo adventures. I know he does solo adventures, really fun. But he says gnomes are more divisive than politics, which is but at least we can have fun with that instead of people going, you can't talk about that, which is good. And
I like that we
then
made them annoying.
what's that?
Yeah.
I like
we did.
that we made them annoying.
We did design them to be annoying, which
Mm.
because people were so annoyed by them. Well, okay, let's make them annoying, and so they irritate one foe once per day, so that they have to re-roll one of their successful rolls.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. I love gnomes, and so for one of my homebrew worlds, I made them short range telepaths, but their telepathy works over sound waves, so they have to babble at people in order to talk, and that can like disrupt people. So I have to make a save, and like everybody's always thinking the gnomes are attacking them because they get confused. They just have the sensation of this like wash of like confusion or interest, and they would freak out. But then in the world that I made, they were this one tribe that had it. Like all gnomes had the ability to do it, but most had decided they're going to just talk like normal people, and it's atrophied. So these guys have been sitting on this island in a lake in a hidden valley for like 1,000 years since like a cataclysm. So they don't know how to talk to non-gnomes anymore, and they have like 3 people who can speak common, but because it's so long ago, they all speak with Elizabethan accents. And they talk real, like one of my friends put up in my Discord, it's like, you have to make them talk really slow because they assume that people who talk, like use vocalizations, just aren't that swift. I'm like, okay, great. So that was their thing. But I love making gnomes annoying. They're awesome.
That's great.
Ever since Dragonlance, gnomes should be annoying, which is so much fun. Now, so Bunny, you said or Zane said you are a decent artist. You're doing the art for the book.
I did a cup. Well, I did the internal like design work, the like for the layout that he put together, and I did a lot of the internal art. We do have other artists that we are commissioning to get art, which you know,
so
I like supporting
other artists.
Yeah, you did the cover, the black cover.
I did the black cover.
Okay,
that's mine.
And then,
which is intense.
And then a lot of the class drawings she did.
That's awesome.
Yes, the class drawings.
So
actually, all
so
of them,
you're using Shadowdark's open license, but that doesn't come with the layout design. But you've riffed off it. You really haven't emulated Shadowdark, but you've riffed off it so well that it blends in so nicely. So like, what are some of those themes of like the Shadowdark interior design that you really felt you wanted to pick up on for your layout?
The whole thing.
An answer that is so true, it is not helpful.
Yeah, sorry.
The OSR black and white art for sure. I mean, that's a huge part of it.
It is the big part of it.
Yeah,
and did you use like the same font?
Yeah, we got.
Yeah, she provides us with that information. It's even in the book itself.
Oh, neat! I'm waiting for my hardback to come.
Right.
Which is
I think really she said October.
Yeah, it's kind of shipping in October. I'm not even looking at my PDF until I get the book in my hand.
Oh wow.
I'm one of those weirdos. So, but what you did is really good. I mean, you got to feel proud about the fact that you made this book look like it belongs on the shelf next to the official book.
Yeah, that was the goal, is to make it as seamless as possible.
Okay.
And you know, since we knew we were filling in, so you know, some people when they do their third party stuff, they'll create a completely different world.
Right.
So then everything is going to be different, and that's fine. That looks great too. What we really wanted to do was supplement the original book so that the additions would be considered, you know, as close to core ethos as we possibly could make it.
Okay.
So, you know, that's really why we emulated it so much, and to make it familiar and easy for people to access. And of course it's beautiful, right? It's already
it's really
perfectly
nice.
done, and the writing style is nice and quick and easy to understand. And so, you know, it was fun to emulate that creation.
Which is cool. And Kelsey has really kind of backed this, right? She's very supportive of the project.
Yeah, you can find her you know, talking about it on the actual Kickstarter backerkit page.
On the backerkit page.
And you can see, you know, her having fun with a lot of the different aspects of it. So that was really wonderful. We met her at Gen Con.
Okay.
We've talked to her multiple times. So yeah, it's been great. It's been a great relationship.
Don't buy me.
What? The cat.
He's probably hungry.
And clawing and biting. That's good. How was your experience at Gen Con? Bunny, you actually interviewed Professor Dungeon Master.
Yeah, and Mr. Baron DeRapp of Dungeon Masterpiece. That's actually my most recent video.
Okay. What was that?
Yeah, I got to play Mac Death with Professor Dungeon Master as the DM, which was amazing.
Okay. That's his one that he's kind of riffing off of Shakespeare?
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Was he using his system for that?
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Deathbringer
for that. Awesome. One of these days I have to get out there. Someone just told me it's the massive, like 70,000 people. I'm like,
and even if you don't sign up for anything, you will find that you have no time for anything.
Just because you're constantly running around doing stuff and looking at things.
So we're gonna next time sign up to do stuff, and probably next time we'll probably have a table. Actually,
that'll be cool.
Probably have our books. Actually,
you're right.
So we will totally.
Yeah,
have our books.
we
that
better.
Was stupid. Yeah, I want to get them the books as soon as we possibly can after the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Backer.
Yeah, we're not used to even
after the campaign ends. You just have to put that in.
After the campaign.
Are you doing any other cons between now and then?
Most likely. We're probably going to do what was it, Gary Con?
You'll do Gary
We're-
Con? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll be
Yeah,
at,
we haven't planned all that. We're very involved in this crazy thing.
This
It's
is taking over our life.
yeah.
gotcha.
I had done 2 Kickstarters before, but they were very small for a
Okay.
comic book I'd created, and nothing like this, because those barely crossed the finish line on time, and
Ow.
most of the people that backed it were people that I knew personally. So
Yeah.
this is a completely different beast, and I'm definitely not complaining. It's been amazing, but it's
Yeah.
very grueling.
Okay. I mean, how many pages is it event when it all said and done? No, you're still
Around
creating slime
120.
people.
Yeah, around 120.
But we're adding more all the time.
Yeah, we keep adding more. There were 2 more stretch goals that were reached for the Fiend and the Ovate, which is
Okay.
a druid class.
Okay.
So we're adding all that and all the spells, and we're playtesting. And that's the other thing, is like we're constantly playtesting this stuff
Mhm.
because we want to make absolutely sure it's as buttoned up as possible.
Yeah, we really
Gotcha.
want community feedback. We really want to feel like we really want other people feel like that they, well, while we have the final say, that they have a voice and that
They've
at least
contributed.
that we care, because
Okay.
this whole thing's a team effort in a lot of respects, because we couldn't have gotten to, what are we at, 80, 81?
Yeah,
We
81.
couldn't have gotten there without anybody's help. Like, everybody's from the community has just come together to support Xane and I. It's been pretty amazing.
Yeah. The Shadowdark community is really fantastic, and we brag about it all the time because
we
these
do.
wonderful folks that really support each other, and
Uh-huh.
they don't get angry about stupid stuff, and they don't devolve into idiotic conversation.
Mhm.
They're very into the game itself and into the nuances of it, and trying to perfect their DMing and
Gotcha.
all that. So it's really been a great community who have come out obviously in spades for us, and we didn't really even have an audience before we started doing this. It's all that Shadowdark audience that already
Yeah.
existed that have hopped on board. So we have nothing but gratitude for all of that support.
I mean, that's one of the cool things about some of these. It's hard to call Shadowdark a smaller project when it cleared over $1 million, but it's still, the Arcane Library is still basically Kelsey, right? These smaller groups and the openness they have in allowing people to have access to the stuff that they did to develop it, and the community they create around it is part of what good tabletop role-playing games should all be about. So I'm glad you've had that experience. Really,
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
So we've already talked a little bit about how big the supplement is and what ancestries you've added to the game. What else are you adding to Shadowdark for this wonderful book you have coming out?
What else are we adding? Lots
All
of
right.
spells.
Lots of spells, but really the major big section is the monsters, and the original book was light when it came to animals.
Okay.
So we've got a lot of different animals, the giant versions, the regular animals, so that if you're doing the Ovate and the Beastmaster and all these different untamed classes,
Okay.
you need to have access to all of that stuff. So it's gonna be a very nice reference for that, and all the giant insects and the queen termites, and all the fun stuff like that, as well as more magical items, and also a new carousing, and a 0 level gauntlet adventure. So there's lots of stuff.
You really
The carousing's really fun. I'm excited about the carousing because it is based on the shaman, which is based on shamans from all over the world.
Okay.
When you go, instead of going drinking and debauchering, which is not a word, you go instead and go on a vision quest.
Yeah. Okay.
A psychedelic plant medicine vision quest, and instead of getting drunk and passing out, you fly through the multiverse and learn new things about the world and yourself, and so on. So it's a fun new way to do carousing.
Okay. Can I make one request for the Division Quest carousing?
Okay.
Yes.
Can you go full Steve Jobs and just have one of the effects of coming out of it thinking that if you eat nothing but fruit, you won't have BO?
That's the thing he does.
That was a thing
Well,
he
he
did for
did.
years. He was absolutely
Yeah.
convinced because he was a fruitarian he did not have body odor, and people are like, "No, you do." He's like, "No, no, no, I eat fruit." I'm like, "Okay, there, Steve." There was
Okay.
it's one of those things when anybody talks about taking
That'll be a negative
psychedelics.
effect. Okay,
Right.
we'll add
Yeah,
that.
you come out of it thinking that, or coming out of it, you are now a fruitarian,
Right.
and you
Okay.
You are
believe
now
that you
Steve
don't have,
Jobs.
you
You know,
don't
Congratulations.
have.
Steve Jobs. You spend 4 hours looking after which backpack you should buy. And then I do have a question from chat, going back to the gnomes because people are very interested in these.
Oh boy.
Are regular gnomes more annoying than deep gnomes, or vice versa?
What do you ask?
Are regular gnomes more annoying than deep gnomes, or vice versa?
Oh
Or do you just
boy.
have gnomes?
Just gnomes.
Just gnomes. We don't have deep.
We didn't want to add the option for deep gnomes because
Of all the uproar,
because of all the rar freaking gnomes. Like,
yeah, the vitriol or the absolute love. It's like, okay, let's leave this alone.
we wanted there to be, something different. The rat people and the slime people, and we didn't want to. We didn't want to just.
Well,
Here's another gnome.
and we
Here's
were
another
thinking about
gnome.
what what are the
Maybe
Duragar
we
or
should
Duragar or whatever, the deep
Duragar.
dwarves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody had nominated those for the underworld portion, because everybody was so upset about the gnomes. I was like, we're not including that. we're not gonna.
There's a little bit of teeth in the Shadowdark community somewhere, but it's about silly things, which is fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, we can't put the
for it.
deep dwarves in because people will lose their absolute minds. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What were some of the arguments people are having for the classes that or the ancestors they wanted to put in, like in the votes? You said they were changing their names to things and like.
Oh yeah, they're
Uh,
campaigning. Yeah.
Sasquatch 69.
Sasquatch 69.
What did he change his name to?
He then changed his name to Slime People 69 because once that one came out, he started backing that one and tried to convince everybody to do that one. Yeah.
It was like a presidential race.
Yeah.
Vote for this. Blah blah blah. Like,
Yeah, it was great.
Did it totally take you by surprise? You had no idea people would be this passionate about it?
No
Yeah.
idea.
No idea.
Yeah, and they would say things like, "Can't you imagine being a Sasquatch druid? Like, wouldn't that be so cool?" Like, yeah, that would be cool. Absolutely.
It would be cool.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. Also, you could be able to do Alpha Flight, which would also be fun. Because Sasquatch is one of the characters in the comic. It's a comic book drop.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one.
Big Canadian comic book reference. It was Canada's version of the Avengers.
I see.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It was always fun. That's actually where Wolverine came from. He
Oh,
was
really?
originally a member of Alpha Flight.
Okay.
So we're going deep into the lore of nerddom.
That's great.
And you said you added a necromancer class. Do you have other classes that you've added to the game as well?
Yeah, well, there's going to be 6 in total.
Okay.
So, like I said, the shaman, the grave warden, the plague doctor, the beast master, the ovate, and the fiend. I think I just rattled through all 6. Wow.
That's really nice.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I wasn't counting. I was just like,
Yes, sure. What's your favorite out of all of those?
Right now, I like the Fiend. I haven't played it yet, though. I plan on playing it.
Yeah, because we just had to design it since it just made the stretch goal of 75K. So
That's awesome.
But I had my fingers deep in that one, so I kind of really want to like test out my wild ideas. Like he made it workable. I just was like, what about this?
Okay.
We'll call it the Fiend, and it can do this.
All her ideas.
So tell me about what's the background of the Fiend here?
What is the background of the Fiend?
So, it's your underworld coming from the abyss, because we didn't want to name hell, right? Like it's coming from the abyss, and it's using a lot of fire-based pyromancy, and it's also a sharp-tongued, quick-witted
interesting
character class. So one of its special abilities is to be able to just detect somebody else's fears or desires, so that then you
Oh.
could, mold your deception or your diplomacy or whatever based on that information that you glean. But mostly it's a fighter class that uses pyromancy.
Mm,
Oh, that's cool.
yes.
Is it limited to certain ancestries?
Nope, none of the classes are limited to any ancestry. So you could
Nice.
have a myconid fiend if you wanted to. You could have a
Okay.
slime fiend.
I mean, I'm gonna have a tiefling theme, but
Yeah,
and I'm gonna be chaotic because I don't see that being a good
right.
class.
Yeah, but you could be a lawful fiend if you wanted to be. I think that would be very interesting. I'd like to see what that looks like.
I think it would be rather interesting because you're like,
Mhm.
no, this is just kind of like my day job, but really in person I do this. So, they're just the lawyers of the world. That's bad. I'm going to get yelled at. And I do have a comment in the chat of someone who says I still hate gnomes.
Right.
Still hate gnomes. So
It's
the gnome
true.
hatred is following her. This is a pro gnome channel. I don't know. Sorry, Cal.
Uh-oh. You might have just ostracized someone by that
Oh
statement.
no.
I don't. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
No, all publicity is good publicity. I can get a
We
couple
we
of
love
people.
gnome lovers and gnome haters equally.
Yes.
Going totally nuts with that. Um, and then the one that kind of peeked out to me of all those classes was the plague doctor. Can you tell me a little bit about that one?
So, do you want to do it? You want to talk about it?
Me, I'm not good at talking. This is
Okay.
why you're here.
All right. All right. So, Plague Doctor, based on the Plague Doctors from the, whatever it was, 1800s, I think, 1700s, I forget now exactly.
They
But
come from all walks.
yeah,
Yeah,
but kind of a more science healer.
Okay.
In addition to, obviously, we decided, hey, we don't want it to just be a healer. He can concoct the actual plague or
Okay.
poison or whatever. So it's and we use the mask correctly. The mask was created so that there would be herbs and so forth in the nose of the mask, and whenever
To block the
you
smell.
needed to, you could just breathe those in.
Gotcha.
And so you create the different remedies and so forth in your own mask. And what we find is that in play testing, people will actually create the remedy and then stick the mask on somebody else and say, breathe this.
I've done that many, many, many times.
Right.
I like that.
So we didn't even really, plan for that, but of course it came out of playtesting. So it's a pretty cool class, and lots of different ways to administer either the healing or the poisons or whatever through a needle whip or through a dart or
We are creating a new
potion,
weapon, by the way.
Or
No way.
all that.
Okay. What's the new weapon?
We don't know what it's called yet.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it, but it's.
Hey, it's my water.
Is that you're referring to the drawing, right, of the Plague Doctor?
Yeah, because we got our character art for that from from Rick Hershey, who's
Okay.
one of our artists. So
yeah, so it's kind of like a
incense burner
on a chain.
mace ball thing.
It's a Morning Star mace burner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not a mace.
So it's hollow, so it's not, and it's on like a chain
Okay.
or
Oh,
whip,
that's-
whatever.
Yeah, and so
Oh,
you
that's
can
kinda cool.
create.
We could share it.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking that. Can we show it to him?
How do we give it to him?
I don't know. You could maybe email it to him.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get it up now, but I'll definitely put it out for some people to see later on. That'll
Okay,
be
cool.
awesome.
Well, anyway, yeah. So it's kind of like because there's many ways to administer. So you
Okay.
can create an elixir, a potion people can drink. You can create it as an injection. You can create it as a cloud, as a dispersing cloud.
Oh, that's
So with
awesome.
this, you'd be able to put it in the actual incense burner and whip it around a greater distance and cover more people with it.
Here, let me heal you. Whack.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome. I do have a couple comments. Folks do want the slime people to be called slime folk. That was one thing, which is good.
Okay.
Someone suggested the slime folk be Odo in a bucket. So
Right.
Oh my gosh, yes, Odo.
I'm very
Yeah.
happy for anyone to go DS9 on me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Heroes in Homebrew has asked how long Plague Medical School is.
Right.
I have a
uh,
very strange audience. I just want to point that out to you.
Yeah, I have no
like your
idea.
audience. They're pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that's he can tell us how
There you
long
go.
like
Just
school
play
is.
test it and have some fun.
Do doctors have to go to school for like 8 years or something?
Yeah.
Some ridiculous amount of time.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
it's a
or
crazy
more.
amount of years, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
depending
I'm
on
sure
what
it's
your
less
specialty is.
back in the day. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
It was like
Yeah.
get your license back in the day. It was fine. You apprentice for
Yeah,
2
it
years.
was
You're a
8
surgeon
days,
now.
not 8 years back then.
The really cool thing is, like nowadays, like surgeons are like the top of the food chain for medicine, and back in I love the cat. Back in like colonial period, they were considered like working class people because they worked with their hands,
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah,
which
that
was
makes
so
sense.
bizarre. So
Yeah.
like surgeons were like looked down on. It was the apothecaries that were the people that were like they were the knowledgeable
Oh,
people.
right. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're just a bone setter. What do you know?
yeah, what do you know? You just know anatomy, which is
Right.
which is very good. Um, we're coming to about 45 minutes or so. I don't want to keep you too long. I just would be really interested in how folks can support this. I do have the link to your backer kit campaign down below, and I'll bring it up on screen again for folks to see. They are now at $81,444, so that's really nice. And 1,373 backers is not too bad. What are some of the ways people can back? Like, what are the tiers?
Oh gosh, the tiers. Okay, well, so
Well-
we have obviously a PDF tier. So if you don't have a lot of cash and you just want the rules, you can do it that way. All the way up to with the crawling kit. So you can buy 5 books. One of them is the special edition, and 4 more for your friends. So everybody has one at the table that
Okay.
you play with. So, and then kind of everything in between. Plus,
Oh, what are you pointing at me for? I forgot.
add-ons. And
Oh,
all
there's
that.
add-ons. There's shiny stickers. There's a pin. There's a dice bag. And I really want to do the dice, so everybody should go grab the $55
Oh.
physical complete edition, so that once we hit 100K, they can get a free set of
Shadowdark dice.
Ooh.
Yeah, the cats are very
What's
distracting,
good?
right?
What's going to be special about the dice?
Go ahead. You're the one. You're the
excited about the
petulant-
dice. Tell me about
They're
the
gonna-
dice.
We're designing them right now. I have an artist designing we're gonna do like a vine with thorn filigree is the we're attempting this, yes.
Okay.
And we're gonna put a skull on the ones.
Okay.
So that obviously if you roll a 1, you
mishap.
screwed.
There you go. Yeah.
and it's gonna be, silver the inlay of it's gonna be the Shadowdark font.
Mhm.
So it's that
Ooh.
old I don't know the font name. Old newspaper types font.
Right.
So that it's going to be the Shadowdark specific font with Unnatural Selection like filigree style. So it's going to match, our black book, and it will match the book for the original core too.
Right.
And
that's gonna be cool.
if we hit 100K, like we're already going to be having the molds made. So we might as well go for like a special edition set of dice that's going to match the maroon book. Which is
Okay.
going to be that same color, which we've been looking at the swatches for. So it's going to be pretty awesome.
Okay. The dice goblin's going squee right now in the back of my
Yeah,
head.
well,
So-
they're gonna be maroon with gold, so they're gonna match this special book. So I really want to get to 100K because I really want these dice, and I really want to be.
Yeah. So help us get these dice
Yes.
for ourselves.
Yes, and
Pledge.
free to everybody who spends the $55. You got to get the complete edition upward. I don't think you can get the
Okay.
special edition without it being complete. Too,
So $55 is basically the core book, the black and silver.
and
Right.
it comes
PDF.
with all of the other physical.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Okay.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Okay, so I have this is King Eric, the greatest of all, who likes to derail with comments and leave me in stitches. So he's trying very hard today. Wants to know if he can front instead of back.
What's that mean?
Yes, you can totally front.
You
It's
just
a-
gave us money.
Just
It's
you
pledge-
could just give the money and not get anything back. That
Backing.
would be fronting. That's
Fronting.
fine. Go right ahead.
Yeah, fronting the money. Yeah,
and-
yeah. Actually, that's a really good idea.
Unless he's trying to
You
buy.
can make out You can make out a check too, and here's the address you can send it to. So yeah, we appreciate that very much.
I should put a disclaimer on. This does not mean that you are buying shares in the company.
No,
And
no,
then
and you're not getting anything with that. We appreciate it.
and wants to know if they can pay $55 in copper or silver pieces. So that's always fun. We're
Yes.
going digital, so you
yeah,
can
sure.
imagine how you want. This is a strange person. Someone also wants to
Hey.
know what tier gets them a cat.
You want to take this one? He's
Yeah,
very loud.
We've got yeah. Just type that in on your bid on your pledge.
If I want a
I'd like
cat,
cat, please.
then
That's
one
all you
might
got to do.
show up in a cat carrier.
You can't have that one though. That's
Yeah, not this one,
That's
but
my familiar.
But
so
the other
Okay.
ones, yeah, we're good.
That's
But-
hysterical.
we just rescued him. He's
Okay.
adorable.
Well, I
Yeah.
love the fact that you're like, are all the cats out of the room? Yes. Like right before we came on air, like, yes, the cats are out of the room. And before we started, we were seeing cattails like go. That's right.
Yeah.
It's just awesome for that.
Yeah, I even had that many times.
So they can back on backerkit. There are many, many tiers. If you get to 100K, everybody gets dice.
Right.
Which that should
Of
be a
those
social
certain
media.
tiers. We need
yeah.
to put that on the front.
It's yeah.
So we need to put that
$55
on
and
the
up.
front for people to
Right.
read down. Yeah.
Back this,
You
get
got it.
dice. Pretty dice. Like they look,
Pretty
they
dice.
sound awesome.
That matched the black book.
That match the
Yep.
black book, which is really, really cool. And when is the Kickstarter? When is the backer kit campaign ending?
7 days, so a week from today.
Okay, very good.
Uh,
And when are
is it
you
really?
hoping to ship by? Because the game is still it's still being finalized, right? Because you've added things.
Yeah, we're finalizing. I'm hoping to get the PDFs out by the end of October. And
that's a big hope. But
yeah, I
feel-
know.
but
I don't know. I'm
we
gonna be
are
working
we
around the
are
clock.
working pretty much endlessly trying to get this done
Okay.
so that we have something almost immediately delivered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost.
And then the hope is that it'll be early next year for the actual physical book.
If
Okay.
not by December.
Yeah, I think that's
Oh.
wishful thinking.
We want to make sure that we get a couple of eyes on the PDF at least so that we can make sure that everything gets edited perfectly so that we're not
Yeah.
any mistakes because
We don't want to rush it because we
No.
don't want
Right.
anybody to be disappointed in the final product. So
no,
Absolutely.
of course
I
not.
think-
Heck no.
I think early next year is going to be an awesome time to hit it.
And that's pretty quick for, I would say, a Kickstarter.
It's very quick. I mean, if folks
Yeah.
have the PDF done before the backer is done or the campaign's done, it can happen pretty fast. But then you have to navigate the printing process, and that can be a nightmare. So good luck.
We do have everything set up almost.
good.
We're lucky enough that pretty much everything we're doing is going to be going through a single
Manufacturer.
Yes.
Oh, that's really nice.
Mhm.
Someone asked if it comes with the D100, the dice set.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, like an actual D100. No.
Oh no.
No, the two
The
D10s.
D10s.
Yes.
So
Right.
someone's trying to find a weapon to put on the end of that whip to beat up with the plate.
No, I get it.
So,
No.
like I said, I have a very strange audience. You just have to use your D12 to knock people out. That's fine.
Yes.
So, which is good.
We might do 3d6. We don't know the pricing difference.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that being a final thing, but it's been requested.
something.
So we're gonna
into.
look into it,
Okay.
but no guarantees.
All right, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. And for folks who have backed, Kickstarters or other crowdfunding products, they're used to there being delays because you're navigating a whole universe. Although Zane, did you do physical print for your comic book run that you did?
I did, but it was just the comic book, right?
So,
There was
yeah,
no-
so it's not as involved. But you have your toe in the water at least. Where
Oh, yeah.
someone like me would be like, I think that would be literally my translation. Will the book have a book ribbon?
A what?
A
book ribbon? I believe so. For us, it wasn't important.
Okay.
But I think it just comes with one anyway through
Okay.
the manufacturer. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Or I
that's
think adding it is basically
Inconsequential.
inconsequential to the pricing.
Right.
Okay.
You know.
I like my book ribbons. They make me
In the
happy.
original Shadowdark,
Yeah.
we'll have it.
We'll have it.
That's cool. Is there anything else you'd like to share with folks?
What should we share?
Someone on the comments going, we're not strange, Wes. We are eclectic, which is a
Yeah.
dime word for strange. So, and that's
Or-
fine. I'm right there.
Or
Speakers,
smart
right.
Alec, maybe, you know.
It's always
little
true.
Smart Alec.
It's a Venn diagram. It's fine. But anything else you want to say to folks to get them to back your backer kit? I almost said
Well,
Kickstarter.
Support my cats. Oh, they can follow my YouTube channel. I mean, I
Oh,
don't
that'd be a
That's
good one.
right.
Yeah.
I think I put a link in the description. If not, I will go back and do it. But you can find Bunny as the Dungeon Damsel, which I think is an absolutely wonderful
I think it's
name.
at the Dungeon Damsel. If you do
Yeah.
The YouTube that you're actually thinking, I'll put the link down. And does some really cool stuff. Like we were pointing out, you did interviews with the Dungeon Minister, and who else did you just do? I just went right out of my mind.
Baron de Rupp of Dungeon Masterpiece.
Dungeon Masterpiece, good.
Craft.
Gotcha.
Haven't done Kelsey yet, but hopefully when she's not so busy.
Yeah, I'm trying to nail her down too. So that was
There's
not
always a cat
actually.
break.
There's always a cat
There's always
break.
a cat
There's always a
break.
cat break, and then there's always a song.
Yeah,
an original song at the end of every video.
Oh, I love it, which should be great.
It's pretty dumb.
But
like
hey, why not? That's the fun thing. But thank you so. Someone wants to share a cat. The comments are very strange. Go back and look at the replay at some point. Someone's going, we're bohemian eclectic. Yes, Cal, you are, which is great. But thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to officially end the stream pretty soon because we are just shy of an hour. And stay on for a little bit so we can just say thank you when we got off the air. But thank you so much for coming on. And I really hope that you hit that 100K, which should be great. I'm looking forward to seeing it when it is done. But
thanks for having us.
Absolutely. This was a blast to have you on. And I'm really excited about what you're adding to Shadowdark because it's a fun game. It's got a really cool creator and it's got a neat community. So awesome. And someone does say, in all seriousness, this looks great. So
Thank you.
Hopefully you got a couple backers from the stream. But stick around, folks. And until I see you all again, happy playing, everybody.